I've done a lot of car reviews, and of late, it feels like I've been talking a lot about the car's creature comforts. But that's because most of the new cars that come to Nepal have a lot of functions and features that are mind blowing. Massive touchscreen units, panoramic sunroofs, 360-degree cameras, you name it, they have it. But this seat is something spectacular. Not only do the driver's seat and the passenger seat both get heating and ventilation, they both get 8-point massaging systems. And there's a refrigerator in the middle with three settings for heating, for keeping cool, and to freeze. I mean, come on. As long as I remember, these features were only available in cars that cost a lot more. It almost feels like I'm in an episode of Pimp My Ride. An exhibit is going to pop up somewhere and go, "Yo, dog, I heard you like relaxation. So we put a massaging chair and a refrigerator in your car so that you can relax like a king." I'm sorry for that horrible imitation, but you get my point. What's next? A popcorn machine under the seat? A mini spa in the glove box? Well, this doesn't have a glove box, but. Anyways, I'm not complaining because this massaging chair feels amazing. And I'm actually very keen on showing you what else the GAC AION V has to offer. I'm Ankit Chakya. You're watching About That. Right. So we've established that the AION V's cabin is a very nice place to be in. But I'll still run you through the functions and features that this car has to offer. Now, the layout is very minimal, which is very reminiscent of the new Chinese cars in the market. And the first thing you'll notice is this 14.6-inch touchscreen unit through which you pretty much do everything apart from driving in this car. For instance, you can change the seat adjustments through the seats, although you do have buttons on the sides. You can do that from here for the deputy chair as well as the driving seat. You can open your windows, open your tailgate, open your sunshade. You can use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, go to your navigation, and this is from where you choose your massaging settings, which is great, by the way, if I haven't already mentioned. Overall, the screen is very user friendly, but I would have liked a couple of buttons, especially for the AC and for choosing your driving modes. It kind of makes life easier when you're driving. But that's something we kind of say for every review, so we might as well just skip it. There's another 8.8-inch screen behind the steering wheel, which shows you your driving information like your speed, your range, your tire pressure monitoring, and other information that is relevant to driving. The materials that have been used in the interior of this car are very nice. They're mostly soft touch. You really have to search for places that have hard plastic, which are here, around the glove box, and on the insides of the trays, on the storage compartment here. But it's not worth complaining about because I think they've used very premium products. The air vents have a nice tactile feel to them. There are cup holders here, and there's a refrigeration unit here, which I've already talked about. You do get a wireless charging port right here, which is only available for one phone. And you don't get a glove box, but you do get hooks to hold your groceries. The steering wheel is nice and chunky. It has a good feel, and the seats themselves are very comfortable. Maybe a little bit of more thigh support would have been nice for longer journeys, but it's still pretty good for city drives. And the vantage point is pretty nice. You get a good view. The A-pillar isn't too distracting. You get a driver monitoring device here, so if I feel a little tired or distracted, the car will let me know. Now let's move to the back seat and see how things are going there. And now, as you'd expect, the back seat is absolutely spacious. It's got a flat floor bed so you can move in and out with ease. Headroom is very good. Knee room, as you can see, is plenty, and you can easily fit 3 people in the back. You've also obviously already noticed this massive panoramic sunroof, which floods the cabin with light. You get a USB-A port to charge your devices. A USB-C would have been very nice. And there's a touchscreen unit right here, which isn't for the AC. It's for the refrigerator that's in the center console in the front. You can choose the temperatures or whether you want to heat your food, keep it cool, or freeze it right from here. And you also get a very nice tray where you can just put your laptop if you're a very busy person and get your work done. Or you can eat from it if you're a more hungrier person like I am. Your AC vents are here, and if you pull this down, you get an armrest with a couple of cup holders and some place to put your phone. And there's another trick with these seats. You can recline them up to 137 degrees, and you can find a very comfortable driving position. In fact, there's one more thing. Talk about space. You've got an extendable space of up to 997 liters, or you can just put this back and relax some more.
The interiors of the AION V absolutely floored me. The exterior, though, has me on the fence. It's a car that is very difficult to describe. It's almost like an angular SUV that is sleek at the same time.
The edge-shaped LED headlights flank what is fairly a clean nose. It just has the AION badge in the middle, but it's got a sort of rounded design which gives it a minimal look. But if you look lower down, it's got a couple of claddings and body contours that give it a little more style. Now, I can't put a finger on it, but there's something about the AION Y's front fascia that just doesn't do it for me. Things do get better though. The 19-inch alloy wheels, which have been beautifully designed, along with the cladding and the roof rack, give it a sportier appeal. And you'll also notice that the door handles are hidden, which give it an elegant, sleek look. Now, if there's one thing that I would complain about, it's probably this section on the C-pillar right here. Just keeping it plain or giving it a little bit of texture would have been a better option than to go for these checkered patterns. On the tail end, you get a vertically designed LED taillight with integrated indicators. And on the whole, I think the tail of the AION V has been very tastefully designed. Now, while it doesn't have a sloping roofline, which seems like the norm with new cars nowadays, it still manages to look very elegant, very stylish, without looking too boxy. Oh, and if you sit behind the tailgate with the key in your pocket for 3 seconds, the tailgate automatically opens. Now, this is very useful for when you have a lot of groceries in your hands and you can't really reach the button, or if you can't be bothered to press the button anyways.
Now onto the important bits. How does it drive?
Feels so good, it's about time that I get into a groove like this. Feel that flow, can't resist, and it all begin to go my way.
The AION V is built on GAC's AEP 3.0 platform, which is a step up from the AION Y's 2.0 platform. And with this, the GAC AION V prioritizes efficiency more than outright power. Now, while the rear-wheel drive is not available on the AION V and it can be a miss for riding and driving enthusiasts, I don't think it's a big problem because this isn't a car that's masquerading as a sports car or a sporty SUV. Now, sports mode, on the other hand, allows you to use all 100 kilowatts of power and 240 newton meters of torque. And that means the AION V can go. It's very responsive and just step on the throttle and you're going. It's more useful when there's not a lot of traffic or when you're out on the highway and open roads. In the city, it's kind of a nuisance. You're just being jerked around a lot. So I'd much rather stick to power saving mode and reserve the sports mode for open roads. And there are a lot of features that are trying to keep you safe while you're driving the AION V. And they have this AION smart driving system with which you get various safety features like interactive cruise control, forward collision warning, rear collision warning, and several other features that are trying to keep you as safe on the road as possible.
GAC has focused on delivering range, equipping the AION V with a larger 75 kilowatt hour battery, which is what they call a magazine battery. The AION V offers two battery options, a 64.5 kilowatt hour pack or a larger 75.26 kilowatt hour one. Depending on which battery you choose, you'll get an NEDC rated range of 520 kilometers or 650 kilometers, although real world figures might be slightly lower.
Now, the Aeon V feels and drives like a large car, but luckily you do get a good vantage point, especially if you drive like me at a higher seating position. You get a very good view of the hood. And when you're driving up narrow, windy roads like this, it can be very useful. Now, I've also switched to sport steering wheel effort, which allows me to have a more engaging driving experience when you're taking on tight turns up these windy hills of Pilot Baba. And for me, I think that just makes it a little more fun to drive. Body roll is well contained for a car of this size, honestly. But if you do start driving a little more aggressively, you and your occupants will be flung around a lot. But if you're gentle and cruise around a little bit, I think it's very well contained. Well, this is where the Aeon V really shines. When you're not really pushing it, but just driving in a very relaxed manner, I think the Aeon V responds well when you're driving in a more relaxed manner. The suspension setup does a very good job of soaking up road undulations, and you won't really find yourself feeling uncomfortable over potholes or speed bumps. And it is not so soft that you kind of feel unsettled when you're taking turns. In fact, I think it has found a very good balance of being on the middle of the road, not too soft and not too stiff, which makes for a good driving experience. The Aeon V comes with voice operation as well, so that you don't have to fiddle with the screen if you're trying to do something like maybe close the sunshade.
What can I do for you?
Close the sunshade.
Okay, sunshades is turned off.
Does take a long while though, because it's a pretty big panoramic sunroof.
The GAC AION V also comes with an advanced heat pump system, which usually helps with battery efficiency during extremely cold weather. But with global warming on the rise, that should not be a problem for very long. Ground clearance stands at 175 millimeters, which is decent enough if you drive sensibly. I didn't run into any issues in my time with the car.
So what is the verdict on the GAC Aeon V? Well, it is an electric SUV that has been designed with one thing in mind: to get the passengers from point A to point B in the most comfortable manner possible. And having one of the best ranges in the segment is not bad either. So if you're in the market for an electric SUV that ticks all these boxes, this one should definitely be on your list, at least for a test drive. Now, the starting price of the Aeon V is 64.99 lakh. But if you want more range, a nice massage, and a nice cold drink, you'll have to pay 69.99 for the top pay. Sponsor लिनुपर्छ यो ब्लर आउट गर